it simple. We kill
the Bat of Gotham.
I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to a new episode of the Batman on Film blog. This is show number 65. I am the founder of Batman on Film, Bill Jet Ramey, coming at you from Little Elm, Texas, where it's going to be 101 today. Ooh. I'm excited, you know, so.
Good for you.
Something.
I got
something.
You got Pete Verra out there in New Jersey. How was that tropical storm? Is it passed through yet?
It passed through. I recorded a show straight out of Gotham with Eric last night, and just as we finished recording, I lost power. So
okay. Well,
it worked out. But we got power back around 12:30 in the morning yesterday, and you know, I'm glad it's over. The garden got watered, and I didn't have to do it, so it saves me some money. So
hey, I'm telling you, one thing, and it's still not out of my DNA in my head, is hurricanes, because I grew up essentially on the Gulf Coast. I grew up, in Southeast Texas, and I've dealt with it my entire life. And, I'm kind of a weather nerd, so I'll look at weatherchannel.com or whatever. And when I see, there's a low pressure system in the Gulf, and I'm like, holy shit, now is this going to come? And then I'm like, oh my God. I'm in Dallas now. I don't have to deal with that anymore. Now, I do have to deal with more hail and possibility of tornadoes. But as someone who's been through, I went through Ike. That was the biggest one I went through. It was something else. So
I went through Superstorm Sandy. That was not fun. I didn't enjoy that. I hope to God I never go through that again.
Yeah. So it's something else. And also on the show is coming at you from the land of 10,000 lakes, my second home state, Grev. Hi, Garret. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, guys. And it's only going to be 82 here. We have been up in the 90s, but 82 that's like perfect summer weather as far as I'm concerned. And in Minnesota, sometimes it gets really cold. Sometimes we get a lot of snow. But that's it. We don't have these super storms that come through, man. Like there's no hurricanes. In the dead set center of the country, way up by Canada, like we just don't have some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, or earthquakes. We've got bird-sized mosquitoes, and we have deep, bitter cold sometimes in the winter. But otherwise, from a natural disaster standpoint, it's kind of nice up here, Bill. I have more time here.
I will say that I do enjoy the summer in Minnesota, and I think I texted you, Garret. I said I think that cabin is going to start here pretty soon, maybe in early fall, and I'll be able to spend a month or two up there.
I think of it like when Denny O'Neil moved Bruce into the penthouse in Wayne Manor for that stretch. That's going to be like summers up here in Minnesota. I'll drive up north. We'll hit the lakes. I can't wait.
I did. Go through a whiteout, driving up from Breezy Point, and it got worse as we got, going south through the cities, and then we made it just past the border into Iowa, and ended up stopping in what is it? What's it?
Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake, yeah. What's that area right there? Crystal Lake. There's another
down
one.
Lake Okoboji, kind of on your way down on 90. That's
no, it's on 35, right across the border.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Really are the land of 1,000 lakes.
It's where Clear Lake, Iowa.
Okay. Clear Lake, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Crystal Clear Lake. Yeah, maybe that's where I was getting tripped up.
Just
Clear Lake.
Camp Crystal Lake, and I'm thinking like Jason Voorhees.
I was gonna say, right? Yeah.
It's where
Friday the 13th.
Where Buddy Holly formed his last
yes, it
concert.
is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So we got there, had to stop, stay the night.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to pick it up next morning. Got to Des Moines, had to stop again.
Jeez, that was probably an hour and a half.
It was it took hours too.
Oh yeah. In normal driving conditions, that's just like another hour down the road.
It was
end up having to stop again.
That was crazy. So anyway, Not enough for the weather talk. I like me some good weather talk.
Everybody knows what to expect at this point. I promise you before the end of this vlog, we will also touch on football.
Yeah.
And if you're going to show up for BOF vlog, you're going to cover the weather. You're going to get football, and then we're going to talk Batman in the middle of it. That's standard now.
Pete you got your Twins hat on, and Pete is going to get it looks like he's going to get his Yankees coming back, right?
I hope so. I have no idea what baseball is going to do. I feel like it's the only sport that's actually going to play because it's probably the least amount of contact. Right. I have no idea how the NHL and the NBA are going to do it, much as football, but it's wait and see point for sports at this point.
Yeah.
I've got my it's gonna be backwards.
Get ready.
My Batman on fantasy football.
Hopefully we can do that, man.
I'm
this year.
Getting amped. Wear your mask. I need football, please.
Yes, it is. Like right now, I'm really starting to. It just again in my DNA is I'm itching for football. Get to this part of July, and now we don't know. I mean, we'll see.
I've been itching for baseball since March. So.
Oh my God, I know.
Can you imagine how I feel?
The Rangers opened up that new ballpark in
Arlington,
looks
beautiful.
And it's not even. No one's been there. It's it hasn't even.
They missed out high school graduation there. That was about it.
That's it. Yeah, no baseball there yet. I haven't even. I've seen it because it's by the Cowboy Stadium, and I saw it. It was still under construction last fall when we went to some games, but I haven't seen it completely done. The only thing weird about that last thing, and we're going to get some Batman. I'm a little disappointed. They've got some kind of new artificial surface in there. It's not natural grass. Yeah, but it's supposed to be the closest thing now to natural grass there is. But baseball, give me grass.
I agree.
Got to be natural grass. Okay, that's enough of the. It'll probably come back up. All right, let's get to some Batman.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
I'm not. That's why I stopped myself. So, big news yesterday, and I gotta say, this is something that I had not even heard whispers about, and I am it kind of floored me because it's very exciting. It's new. I mean, it's new what they're going to do. So the bottom line is Matt Reeves is working with HBO Max to create a police procedural series for them that is set in Gotham City. I think it's like the Gotham Central, the old Gotham Central comic book.
Greg Rucka, yeah.
And they even in the Hollywood Reporter report, they said it was being referred to as that, but even though there was not an official name, Gotham Central. And it's not like Gotham where it's just its own thing and self-contained, not related thing. This is actually set in the world of the Batman and that world that he is going to create. And they've said it's going to be, there's going to be other things too. I'm going to say that. I've confirmed there's going to be some other stuff, and it's going to be multi-platform. So it could be, HBO Max. They're going to have film. You're going to have maybe some comic book tie-ins to it. But they're creating a Batman verse, the Batman verse. I guess we should call it that. And I mean, what else? That's awesome. I mean, Pete, go ahead. What do you think, man? When you read that?
Well, first of all, it's like HBO, it makes nothing but really fantastic series. I mean, you go back, Sopranos, Boardwalk Empire, Oz, The Wire, I believe that was an HBO show too. And and then you find out that Terrence Winter's involved, and he's such an amazing producer, and he produced 2 of those shows that I mentioned. And you're floored because like HBO makes these fantastic drama series, and that's what this is, and then you kind of hope it's like in light of like maybe like an NYPD Blue or a Chicago PD, and it's a really grounded street level police thing, and it's just fantastic because you find out that it's possibly a prequel to the movie, so therefore they're not really hampered, but it's also from the director of the movie, so it's in line with everything. And Reeves probably has his haves and have nots for what he's going to put on small and big screen, and it's a very creative collaboration, and I'm all for it. The people involved, the network involved. It's such a boast of confidence for the Batman. Like you don't do this unless you think you have a hit on your hands.
I had wrote that yesterday in a little short op-ed. I said, it shows they must really, Warner Brothers, AT&T, whoever, really must like what they're seeing with the Batman to put this kind of investment in it right now. And they're giving Matt Reeves, Garret, the keys to a pretty big kingdom, huh?
Oh, well, yeah, you start thinking about from a financial standpoint, how much Warner Brothers is pushing the chips and going all in on Matt Reeves. And that's exactly what you see here. You don't dedicate this amount of capital, this amount of production, bring in crews of this size, unless you feel very confident in the creative force and confident in the vision. And then obviously with, Pete mentioned the names, like HBO makes prestige format series. You can say what you want about the last season about Game of Thrones, but their sort of marquee tentpole TV series are the best television ever produced. There's almost no questioning that. So if you get Warner Brothers and AT&T now looking to say, hey, we're going to produce quality content. This is the guy we think that's going to help us get there with his vision. And we're going to expand this cinematic world into a home viewing world too. I think that tells you a bit more. And there, we don't need to get all the way into it, but there's been whispers about, with the Michael Keaton news and, the Snyder cut of Justice League, that the DCEU was really going to be the primary focus for Warner Brothers and AT&T, and then the Matt Reeves films are kind of going to be like little side one-offs. We haven't heard that from anybody of any reputable position, but you hear that from Twitter accounts and stuff like that. This clearly flies in the face of that. They're saying, no, we're going to build it all. It's it's all going to be a big deal. And we're going to make sure that we're going to invest in quality. And for me, what I love about this is it tells me, like, if you like grounded, gritty, street level sort of city crime, which it feels like Reeves is delivering, we're going to go big on that in this corner of our IPs. If you like the bigger fantastical stuff with, crossovers and maybe interdimensional threats or whatever, here, you can go right over there. And you can do that in DC Comics. DC's been doing that for years. So to see Warner Brothers start to get their heads around that and do that with film and television properties, man, what a great time to be a fan. That's awesome.
It is. It's just, and it's, I like, and I'm paraphrasing Matt Reeves, but essentially he's saying this, how exciting it is to be able to do this kind of thing with the world he's creating and really, really flesh out that world and the characters, periphery characters that you can only do with the HBO type of series. And like I said, hearing this is not going to be the only thing that we'll see that's part of the Batman verse. And whether or not we ever see Pattinson and Jeffrey Wright or whoever show up in this or any of these, I don't know. Maybe I think that maybe they're going to be more relegated to the cinematic, the theatrical aspect of this universe. And I'll bring this up, let y'all talk. I had a lot of people say, how's this different than Gotham? And I'm like, it's completely different in Gotham because it's what Gotham's original idea was going to was to make a police show centered around Jim Gordon set in Gotham City before Batman, and it became Smallville essentially, the Batman version of Smallville. And someone, I think it was someone on the Facebook group, I want to give them credit, but had a good analogy saying, it's what Gotham did is they put the cart before the horse, big time, and this is not going to do that. It's completely different. It's not a rehash of Gotham, guys. So
thank God.
What do you think? Well, Pete, I know Pete. Well, Pete loves Gotham.
I've said this numerous times, and I've gotten in many arguments. I think Gotham is a stain on the Batman legacy. I do. I don't think it's a good interpretation of the character. Any of the characters, I think it was a way to kind of sell, T-shirts and Diamond Select toys at Hot Topic. I don't think it was, it was intended to be the Jim Gordon Chronicles, and it really strayed away from what that was supposed to be. But like now that this show is on HBO, and the connective tissue can be there because, you know, Jeffrey Wright's no stranger to HBO shows. He was a big part of Westworld.
Yeah.
Bingo.
And I mean, if you can learn, police departments in big cities are split into precincts, you know, so Jim Gordon's office might not be in the building where this police station, where this bunch of cops is located. You know, we kind of learned that in Birds of Prey. You know, Jim Gordon wasn't seen in that movie, but it was still set in Gotham City. So, I mean, like New York City has how many precincts, for example? So like, Gotham City is a large city. There's tons of criminals. There's tons of stuff they can do. I'd be interested to see, you know, what characters make it into this show. I would imagine it'd be kind of low level type street guys. Like I could see Zaz popping up in this show, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe even someone as crazy as Professor Pig. Like I can't see him really, you know, leading a movie, but I can see him being in this show as kind of like a serial killer, a son of Summer of Sam type thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, as someone who I was a huge NYPD Blue guy back in the day, and I love those type of shows. And if it's just that, but in Gotham, I'm fine with it. You know, and I'm fine with it. And especially now, it's just not, you know, people will say, well, then just make a police show. I mean, why you have to put it in Gotham? There's no Batman, but when you add to the fact that it's in the world of the Batman and it's helping flesh out that universe, that makes it even more exciting to me, you know, Garrett. I mean,
I'm right with you.
You know,
I was just going to say, I pulled up it was Rob Veach on the Facebook group that and I saw that point earlier today. And actually, it wasn't until late last night, and I'd been talking about this all day, you know, in texts and on social media, and I didn't even think about Jeffrey Wright as Gordon in this, you know, probably not a reoccurring role, but showing up here and there. My thought was exactly it, you know, with Westworld. This guy is not a stranger to HBO TV. He's in some really good movies. He's a fantastic actor, but he's not a movie star to the point where I don't believe his schedule is so full that he couldn't, you know, be a guest star from time to time. Or, you know, depending on how long they're planning on this show running, maybe it's when Gordon arrives, we're showing why Gotham needs to be saved, like how it's in such bad shape. And Gordon arrives towards the end of it to go help kind of clean up the city after having a rough experience.
Like year one where Gordon's in Chicago.
Exactly. After having some rough times in Chicago. And I wouldn't expect Robert Pattinson to be involved, but if at the end of this run, if it is indeed a prequel, Bruce Wayne returns to Gotham, and we have, you know, a couple seasons or however long, if it's a mini format, you know, if it's a, you know, 8-season sort of prestige format run, that really helps establish why Gotham needs a Batman, then that's freaking awesome. Like that's why you do this, even if you don't include Batman, because in long format storytelling, you get to add the details. You know, I've got the quote up from Reeves. He says they can explore the kind of depth and detail that only a long form format can afford. So if he has these ideas, and this is a guy with a lot of ideas, right? He's a creative force, but you can't fit all of those in a 2 to 2.5 hour film. Well, geez, you know, most good writers establish backstories for the characters that are going to show up in their movies, because you need to be able to tell actors what their motivations are. And if this is how you can get some of those details and backstories on screen, sign me up, you know, like, geez, I'm already subscribed. I'll subscribe again.
And they can use iconic locations like Ace Chemicals, Sionis Industries, the Iceberg Lounge, Amusement Mile. Like you can really set the tone of Gotham City and just what it's about and everything without even using like the Joker and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, there's the history of Gotham City is, you know, it's very rich. It's 80 years deep. So, I mean, the possibilities are kind of endless here.
Okay, let me ask you to this then, and just spitballing, just fan out, nerd out, geek out, Batman geek out. We've got Gotham Central. What other type of periphery prestige TV series would you like to see maybe them take a stab at that would be set in the world of the Batman? But, you know, I mean, same thing, but different, you know what I mean?
Me coming from, you know, we're speaking of HBO and, you know, Terrence Winter. I mean, I would love to see a mafia style show based on Maroni or Falcone, a la The Sopranos. You know,
Oh yeah,
something
great
similar
idea.
to that would be really great. You know, taking aspects of Sopranos, Godfather, Goodfellas, and applying that to Batman in the mafioso sense. That would be fantastic.
You could do Falcone when he's a young lieutenant rising up in the mafia. You know what I
Just
mean?
a young capo busting heads and collecting payments.
Yeah.
Well, I
That's
think about
fantastic.
I think about like interfamilial wars, right? So if you think about Dark Knight and The Long Halloween, you have this mob war between competing families, and then depending on how long this thing runs, in the vacuum that's left by one family sort of establishing dominance over the other, you have the freaks, right? And that's
exactly.
if that's where Reeve wants to go, right? This is me. I always kind of go a little bit more fantastical, but I think that's how you can play it. And the other thing when you think about sort of prestige TV, I haven't watched a ton of either of these shows. I've given them both a try, but we're kind of watching some stuff that my wife likes a little bit more right now. But Succession, I've heard great things about. And if I think about, and I've actually started watching Billions. But if I think about like corporate power television shows and the struggles in politics and the dirty playing that can go into that. And in the void, like if this is indeed before Bruce has come back to Gotham, you know, maybe it's some like corporate espionage and competition within Wayne Tech and, you know, Sionis Industries or whoever else it is. Like you could have that feel. You could put all of this in there and leave out all of the high camp nonsense that Gotham did.
Or
and
something
just play
like
it straight.
Something like Ozark about money laundering,
Yes.
you know, just illegal activities.
We just
Gotham
got done
City
with
is
Ozark,
the most
actually.
crooked city in fiction. So
Right.
like anything can be possible here. And that's where it is.
It's all sorts of possible. I mean, Carmine Falcone's in the Batman. So, you know, it wouldn't be out of the norm to say, well, how did he get where he's at? You know, is this part of this new show? Is it something else?
What if I have a hard time thinking they do this.
Okay.
What if Harvey Dent's in this bad boy? What if DA, what's his name, Peter Skarsgård is Dent's replacement, and Dent's already Two-Face, and Harvey's in this show? I
think there's a strong possibility that Two-Face exists by the time the Batman takes place. Yeah. That's my, and no inside information. I know that the character was allegedly in the script at one point and was cut just for pacing and you know, story purposes and so forth. So maybe that's the case.
And if that is the case, I really hope he is in this series because, you know, from the turn is what gets you on the Harvey Dent story. Yeah. It's you have to care about Dent first. Mm-hmm. That's why, you know, between Burton and Schumacher, that one, there's 100 issues of that Two-Face character that we talked to death about. But even like you didn't get Billy D as the Dent that like is Bruce's brother and his partner in crime fighting, and you honestly cared about him. Like that's when Two-Face is effective for me. When you have time with Harvey, when you believe in Harvey Dent, and then when the change happens, that's where it gets you in the gut, and that's the pathos into the character dynamic between Batman and Two-Face for the rest of their conflict. Absolutely,
and even as great as the Dark Knight is, and I get the story, and I get the whole thing with Harvey, and it made sense in that film. I do want to see that where he is a beloved character. And he becomes Two-Face, and it just wrecks you, you know?
Yeah.
It wrecks you. So
I was doing some Googling while you guys were talking, and another member of the Batman cast, John Turturro, has HBO roots. So I wouldn't be surprised if he popped up. I mean, if we're talking about mafia stuff, it's just funny because, you know, I'm waiting to see who pops up in this. As someone who grew up, I was telling Bill off air, like loving The Sopranos, being a Sicilian from New Jersey. I mean, I could totally expect like Steve Buscemi popping up in the show, Michael Imperioli, like any number of those great Sopranos actors who have, you know, alumni of that. Because I've been listening to their Talking Sopranos podcast, and they mentioned Terrence Winter a lot, the influence he had on that show.
How long have we been talking about Steve Buscemi potentially showing up in Batman property?
20 plus years. Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't that be sweet if it actually happened and it was here? That'd be cool.
Seems like the stars have aligned.
Yeah. What about, and I'm just throwing this out, and I'm going to get y'all's take on Michael Keaton, and we're going to get the hell out of here. But what about something with Arkham?
Yeah. Oh man.
Like a Supermax type thing.
I'm just throwing Arkham. I mean, what could you do? I mean,
you could do like an Oz harking back to HBO's roots. You can do an Oz type, prison show based on the loony bins in Arkham Asylum. Dude. And there's no shortage of those crazies. I mean, Calendar Man, I can't see headlining a movie, so that would be the place for him. Where he's kind of that like Hannibal Lecter type, like psychotic person. But that's where I could see that going.
I see light bulbs all around Garrett's head in his.
I'm just thinking about how like one could feed into the other, right? So you have this Gotham Central police procedural, and as time goes on, the crimes they're stopping are more and more heinous, and the people that they are arresting are more and more disturbed, and it feeds directly into this asylum, right? They have this place where they're going to be set up to treat them. And then on this other show, if there's going to be other things, it's taking a look at Arkham Asylum in sort of this Oz lens, with the corruption in the leadership or the oversight of the facility itself, maybe some less than scrupulous practices, and maybe their own agendas going on with the Hugo Strange type thing, and then into the lives of the inmates as things around them. Like you have a point of view character that's just kind of a disturbed guy, but as the people around him get more deranged and the criminality element is more escalated, like what's that do to somebody that was just in there getting some psych help before? Like that could be incredibly compelling. This is just a great palette for them to play with these characters. I've
got to reel myself in right now because I could go on a freaking tangent of ideas, good or bad, good or bad.
Hopefully somebody at Warner Brothers is listening, or HBO is listening to us.
Do this.
So needless to say, I believe we're all very happy about this news. We're going to get the Batman verse from Matt Reeves on multiple platforms. I can't wait. We'll see how it happens, see what happens and how it happens over the next few years. But real quick, one last Batman note. I've talked about it on a vlog with Rick after it happened, and I know you guys talked about it on podcast. And let me say this, Pete, Straight Outta Gotham's a hell of a show. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Listen to Straight Outta Gotham. Okay. Keaton coming back. Real quick, Pete, what was your thoughts? Boom. How you feel?
I was opposed to a Flashpoint movie because it felt like Batman was going to hijack that film when it was the Thomas Wayne Batman. So and he's been overexposed in comic books recently. So I was like, it was tiring to me. Bringing back Keaton is something, like 30 years in the making, like that Batman is something that we kind of got teased of very briefly in Crisis on CW. And it's just, the Batman of my childhood coming back to, save Batman on film is a fantastic thing for me. I mean, as I wear my Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman t-shirt, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see where it goes. Bringing Keaton back.
Nice 89 logo. That's great.
Points. And bringing Keaton back just brings in the general audience. Like, I don't think they would have known who Thomas Wayne Batman is. They might have gotten confused. Like, these are the same people who thought that Begins was a sequel to a prequel to 89. So I don't know if I want to do that, but this is great news. I can't wait. I'm happy to have Keaton back, and I can't wait to see him rock that yellow oval again.
Garrett, you okay with him being the Batman of the quote unquote DCEU, even though he may not be Batman, because there's talk about leading to doing something where he's a mentor to a successor. But anyway, that's a whole different topic. But
yeah, I'm more than okay with it. I think I talked about this. I think I talked about it with you and Eric, didn't I, Peter, on your show?
We're 10 episodes deep.
That's when I listened to it. It was good. That's when I said, "Man, that's a good show." Anyway, that's why I knew y'all talked about it.
And this is the Batman of my childhood.
Yeah.
And I do. I mean, I think about it sort of like this. This is a long way to get to my point. On BatmanOnFilm.com, Bill reviews Batman. Batman is a title that normally doesn't have all the extra superpower powered characters in it. It's a little bit more ground level in Gotham City. And I review Justice League, which has Batman in it, and he is off doing his Justice League stuff. And I like both. It was going to be disappointing for me if the quote unquote DCEU carried on and there was no Bat element to it. And it was just always sort of like, and maybe at some point it's like, oh yeah, Bruce is off doing his own thing, and we just never had a Batman there at all.
Yeah.
So that was a problem for me that needed to be solved. I was going to be disappointed if it was like that. Now, to Peter's point, solving it with Thomas Wayne never made any sense to me because it's too convoluted to stick in a movie and have it work. Just all of a sudden, Jeffrey Dean Morgan shows up.
And you'd have to have so much explaining to the audience to do.
Yes,
that it would take us.
You need to spend 45 minutes at least of a 2.5-hour movie telling the audience why this came to be.
Yeah.
When for the comic book fans and us geeks online, we come to that pre-baked. We think it works because we've had this guy in comics for 10 plus years now doing this thing. I think roughly 10 years. So, but for a general audience, it's not the solve. They don't know the character, they don't know the backstory, they don't really care that Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in 30 seconds of Batman v Superman. But Bruce Wayne, as portrayed by Michael Keaton, everybody knows about, right? It doesn't matter if you're alive or old enough to go see 89 and 92 in the theaters or not. That's part of the pop culture lexicon.
Yes.
So to do that doesn't cater to a very small section of moviegoers that know this character from their comic book fandom. And I mean this in the best way possible. It caters to a very broad popcorn experience general audience. And I don't mean catered to it like, we're placating it and it's going to be phony. This could be very compelling stuff. And Keaton's a great actor.
Yeah.
And his return to this character has been something that has never left at least some circle of conversation since 1992, right? Like, what happened when the internet was invented? People started looking at dirty pictures and talking about Michael Keaton as Batman. This is something that people want, and I'm super excited to get it.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I love stories about an older Bruce Wayne who's still trying to be Batman, or even with Batman. I like Batman Beyond. I like that whole thing, and I love The Dark Knight Returns, and I loved Kingdom Come,
Oh, absolutely.
So I think maybe we get a little of all of that in this. A little here, a little there, I'd love to see Keaton rock that exoskeleton. Then the whole suit that he put, that when he was Batman, the Batman suit he wore in Kingdom Come.
And you can just tell how passionate he is about the role. I mean, he goes to graduations and he just basically, for a commencement speech, says, "I'm Batman." While he's filming Spider-Man Homecoming, as he's beating Tom Holland, he keeps telling him he's Batman. So his passion for this character, his passion for this role has never left. And that's what's so appealing, because it almost at times it felt like, the last guy quit on us, whereas this guy, he never left. The passion never left, and he still wants to do it. So I'm all for it. It's like we said, like the Batman of our childhood, because we're 80s guys, this is fantastic. This is great news.
It's funny. Some of those pictures have started circulating again. One of the things that bums me out about Keaton leaving, and I don't know why they would have changed the plans, but the prototype Keaton suit for Batman Forever is like very comic book accurate, with the gray bodysuit and the yellow belt. And
I don't think they painted it yet, though.
Well, that was going to be my question. Do we know if that was just pre-painted, or had they actually thought about going gray and black for Forever, and then when the casting changed, they just went back to black?
I know they made Panther suits
in his body mold,
and for Keaton.
Yeah.
Because they were actively they
were down in
pre-production, with him in the role, and that's it's even with Rene Russo was Chase Meridian originally, so not sure, but
I think those pictures are of the sculpting phase. I mean,
it looks like
this listens to the show, so he could probably say that in like a comment section, but I believe that's the sculpting phase.
It looks like the sculpting part, So I mean,
It's before Lycan begins when Bruce gets the spray gun and goes over there.
Yeah, you're gonna give me
in the picture. Yeah. In the picture, it looks like they were going like comic book, but I've never heard for sure if that was just the sculpt or pre-paint.
Yeah.
But anyway, like what made me think of that is your talk about the exoskeleton. Like I'm super excited to see if Bruce suits up. It sounds like he's playing Batman, so that to me implies a suit. What does he suit up in? And then those Alex Ross images, you can't
have him not suit up at least once.
Yeah, that would be you can't hook in the general audience, reel them all the way in, and then just say, nah, he's just behind the desk.
I'm going to go ahead and pre-order my Michael Keaton Flashpoint Batman action figure and statue. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll have to spend the money on the hot toy for this one. I got the Michael Keaton Batman Returns hot toy downstairs. This one's going to be a must.
I know you guys will all have your pops going, and I haven't allowed myself to get.
Me and Pete have been talking about doing a collecting show because I'm starting to get more involved in it than I've ever been at any phase in my life, and so we're going to do that at some point here soon. I just went through and refurbished an Ideal Toy Company 1966 Batman helmet. I've had it.
It looks incredible.
I've had it since I was probably 3 years old, and so anyway, I was going to plug that at the end, but I was kind of proud of that.
I might commission you to fix some of my stuff.
No kidding. I think restoration videos are really cool. I've talked about it a lot, and if you guys follow me on Twitter, I talk about He-Man and Masters of the Universe quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And I've done some restoration projects, cleaning up figures in some of the like play sets. And you can find these. The only reason I ever learned to do it is because I found them online, and I think they're just like fascinating. Yeah. Like it's just sort of, there's something like to me that's deeply satisfying about watching the process and then seeing the end result. Yeah. Like you get this sort of secondhand sense of accomplishment when I watch it. So I love that. I think it looks so cool, Bill. Yeah. And I saw a picture of it on your shelf. It fits right in.
It's sitting really there. Nice. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, I'm kind of proud of it.
Does it still fit?
It's still too big, but it fits me better than it did when I was 4. I'll say that. Okay. But I did, I marked on it. I don't know why. I did try to cut it. I had to fix the cut because I remember why I cut it. Because it was so big on my head. I was going to cut around and then try to have my mom or one of my grandmothers like sew fabric on the other part. So like the top part with the ears and the mask part would be here.
Well, thank God you didn't do that.
No, I know. So anyway, I got some videos on YouTube if you want to see it. And I'm kind of proud of it. It's over there by my Mr. Potato Head, Dark Knight Rises.
That Batman, I think is a really cool. I would love to see a toy review on that. That's actually really cool. I've never seen that before.
No, it's funny, Bill, that you mentioned it because the pictures you've shared, I've thought to myself, like, man, Bill's shelves are filling up more than I've known him to have. Like, all the collectibles and toys before.
Had a lot in totes, and I'm still, I even asked, do I take these out? Do I leave them in the box? And I've got different people tell me different things. I did take out my pop figures, so they're over here behind me, and that's kind of a new obsession of mine, these little pop figures.
Those things are crack. Once you start, you can't stop. It's
why I haven't started.
Decisions I've ever done.
Exactly, because I see these things, and at first I'm like, all these goofy little cutesy things. Exactly. I don't know how these grown men get so pulled into this. Like, that's little kid stuff. And then as I keep seeing, Lauer will show something in our group chat, and I'm like, oh, that one looks pretty cool.
I've got a couple of reviews.
And then I know as soon as I bought the one that I thought was cool, I'd like need a little buddy for it. And then oh, well, that variant's awesome, and then I'm right back,
I mean, I'm even like, I've got the Jack Nicholson Joker pop next to my Michael Keaton pop, and they're staring at each other. And I mean, it's just...
And then they sell the 2-packs of the diorama.
Yeah. So
I would get sucked into that rabbit hole very quickly.
It's very easy.
Oh my gosh.
You could say you bought it for the kids, and that'll at least give you an excuse.
I could say that, but my kids are 19, 25, and 23.
Well, Garrett's got a whole offensive line. So
that's right. That's true. Yeah. Garrett's he's got the perfect excuse.
Bill, you can just tell announcer Rachel that you've bought these for the Grev boys, and when you guys go up to Minnesota, you're going to drop them off.
I'll tell you one funny story, and we will end the show. I was at Walmart Rachel on July 4th. Actually, I needed a folding table, so we went there, and my youngest son was with me, and he's in electronics, and they go, come meet us over here. We found something you would like. So I walk over there, and they had a bunch of pops. They had the Alfred Wayne Manor pop.
Yeah. Where are you going to put Wayne Manor?
And I'm like, I'm looking at it, and I look at her, and she just shakes her head no, and I put it back like a defeated walk with my head. Kicking
I
rocks.
just want the Alfred pop. I don't really need Wayne Manor. It's too
kicking
big.
rocks all the way home. So
life never changes, huh? Jeez,
yes.
You're gonna be doing that. Yep.
It makes it's live young, man. It keeps you young, keeps you living longer. All right,
absolutely.
Peter, plug something, please.
Follow me, Twitter, Instagram, Vero, at Pete Illustrated. Follow my show. I co-host with the Long Island legend, Eric Holzman, at straight_O_G on Twitter and Instagram. We also have a YouTube page and a Facebook page as well to interact and just talk topics, geek out, Batman, whatever Eric likes as well, He-Man and stuff like that, Star Wars. He tries to be like Rick Shue. So, we're always down to talking some stuff.
I know someone who would like to come on it sometime.
Oh, I would love to have you.
Okay.
It'd be a big moment to have the editor-in-chief on.
So
it's a prestige guest.
I'm serious. I'm not just BSing because Peter will confirm. Was it yesterday or day before? I texted both you and Eric and said, "Good, that show's good, boys. I was proud of y'all." So
thank you very much.
That's for real. All right, Garret, what you got, sir?
Yeah, I already mentioned I've got some comic book reviews up. The latest issue was Justice League 47. I shouldn't have said it because now I'm not sure the number. I think you're right. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think it's 47. New creative team. So if you haven't been reading and you're looking for a spot to jump on, they're really kind of doing some cool stuff, little mini stories, 3-issue arcs now. It's not tied in directly to all the big sort of multi-cosmic level stuff that Justice League was doing when Snyder and Tynion were on board for the writers. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of, it almost takes you back to a simpler time of comic books. This one is very sort of sci-fi, Star Trek-y, sort of political allegory via sci-fi with Justice League. So check it out. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one. Also reviewing Batman Superman. I think new issue of that is out next week. So if you like those, you can find links obviously on the website, or they're on my Twitter page too. I'm at Garret WATO. It's GARRET WATO. I've been asked, the WATO stands for What Are the Odds? I've got a fantasy football kind of defunct podcast, but we keep our Twitter account up. So if you want to follow fantasy football advice, that's WATOFFB. You can check me out over there. On my account, you'll get a mix of, to Peter's point, Batman, Superman, Star Wars, He-Man, pictures of my kids, fantasy football. Over there, you just get fantasy football. So I don't know, whatever you like, I'm here to help.
All right. Sounds good. You can follow me on Twitter at Batman on Film. Check out my reviews of Batman. I was like, I got bummed out at the end of their Dark Designs. I'm like, that's it. And then this last issue is leading into Joker War. I'm back on. I thought it was a great issue.
It was a good one.
I will become a better bat. If you don't know what that means, read that issue. It's very good. So that's it. That's all I got. So thanks guys for coming on. We hope you liked the show. I'm sorry about the weather talk. No, not really. I like talking weather, so you got to have to deal with it. And if we get off on the tangent of sports and pop figures and whatever, you just never know what tangent I can go on. Don't even get me started about music, so I can really get let loose. All right. So I'm Bill for Garret and Pete. Batman on Film, boys. Who's going to do the tagline? Y'all do it together. Here we go. Let's do it. We'll do a Minnesota, New Jersey mashup, team up. Okay, here we go. And you can do it in your native dialect and accent, and even make it even better. Batman on Film, authoritative, definitive.
The dadgum
original.
All right. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.